Find out the cryptocurrency strategy. We're gonna learn about it right now. Share it out, hit the like, smash the buttons, destroy it. Like. That's right. Hello and welcome. Here, that's right. Zoomed in on what matters here. Okay, where are you in this one? Alrighty. Get you up here. Alrighty. Alright, so let's get started today. We got a very interesting topic today. I've been trying to catch up on my cryptocurrency broadcasts. They're not regularly scheduled, so that's the reason why you haven't been hearing me update any cryptocurrency things. I really do have to get back to a regular schedule. Not that I'm promoting any of the cryptocurrency. As you know, I have my Spaceparium coin that we're developing and releasing for the game. But I usually just talk the philosophy and other truths of this whole crypto issue. So I monitor the content that others are making and putting out there, and I just see the same thing happening over and over and over again. It's and so what we're going to talk about is a little bit more about the cryptocurrency, really what it means for us, and for most of you out there, and how really you should be taking it. I've been advising you for quite some time if you've been following my cryptocurrency broadcast. And we have some confirmation basically of what I've been telling you now in an article which we'll start out with right now. So we might as well go there. Today we were supposed to start our Russian polyglot. Today will be probably after I do this broadcast. It may start later, so those of you joining in for that, we'll do that after this broadcast is over. Let's go to the screen and find out what all the hoopla is about. What is all the hoopla about? So let's go there. I'm sure there's a technical issue. There's always going to be a technical problem here and there. So let's just try to fix that for you so you can look at the screen and get the screen coming in. So let me just fix that for each of you out there. So we can get that working. It doesn't seem to want to work. So here it goes. So we'll do the same thing for our friends down on YouTube. A moment. And just get that, trying to get in there. It looks like it needs some coaxing this day. Okay, that should pop in there, going with hope, and there it is. So today, let's go into our Feedly, and we use Feedly, as you know, in our broadcast to bring up, basic news items that are are featured here. This is one that grabbed my eye because it is exactly the thing, the exact thing I've been talking about. We'll head over to the main article at CoinDesk. It says, never mind hodlers. Hodlers is a misspelling of holder, of holding, right? The L is transposed with the D. Someone said it, and it just goes to show you how a tweet can really make a big impact because it's stuck. And so it has been called hodling, which means holding on to your cryptocurrency instead of like day trading, or selling and buying, selling, buying when it's high, selling when it's high, buying when it's low, stuff like that. Traditional investment type of behavior. So it says here, never mind hodlers, crypto needs more opportunist investors. And I'm going to decode, it's what it's called, decode what this means. Actually, I've been talking about Bitcoin in the past and other cryptocurrencies like XRP. And we've been talking about how, in the case of we've been saying, and we've pretty much established a fact, and that is that Bitcoin is really the only one. Hi, how are you doing? Yeah, Bitcoin is the only one that has a right to speculative investing, speculation. And basically, the U.S. government, the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, agrees in the sense that Bitcoin, they're keeping Bitcoin as a as a crypto unto itself. It's a separate thing. They're dealing with Bitcoin a little differently, and they're not considering that it is a security by any means. But the others, they are really into investigating all the others. And according to some recent news, some of the others, especially those based on Ethereum, and I think there's a report out that Ethereum is considered, or is highly considered, to be a securities-based, in a securities-based form. So, meaning that, and the problem with that, I'm sorry, I'm choppy in terms of trying to get my thinking out there, but I'm just trying to be careful to shape it in the right manner. And that is that there are many coins that are based, many of the other coins out there are based on the Ethereum. So if Ethereum is going down as a security, that means that all those other coins that are based on Ethereum are most probably going to be similarly treated and considered by the SEC. And a lot of other countries will, pretty much may follow suit, may take that into consideration, etc., etc. And there's a lot of issues that would ensue with that. But Bitcoin stands aloof as in a separate corridor, because I think everyone agrees that Bitcoin is the only one. It's the first one that caught on. It's the only one that was really just based purely in what we're talking about here. It has a lot of features to it, but I'm just talking about how people reacting to it, buying and selling, that it was totally really just a speculative coin. And so, and it has a right to be it, and that's it. But the others seem to have certain issues, and so those are the things that are involved. But notwithstanding that truth, we come to the issue now, because some people are thinking, I'm going to go into the main screen for this. Some people are thinking that, or hoping rather, that, like in the case of Bitcoin, it's going to become $1 million. It's going to become $1 million. So let's deal with that. The issue is that right now, and any time during its development, it has struggled to go higher, but it has. It has gone higher. But what we have to not forget is that Bitcoin exists on the planet Earth. And what I mean by that is that Bitcoin depends on people. And the vast majority of people, and we'll take the big figure, the $1 million. Most people don't have $1 million. So the question begs to be asked, and that is this: if all of your poor folk who invested in Bitcoin whenever or wherever, some of you were gifted Bitcoin back in the day, if you're holding on, hodling for Bitcoin to hit 1 million, how many do you actually really think that all of y'all, that each and every one of you, will actually be able to sell your Bitcoin for $1 million? Did you, and for this, let's do some, let me do some light research. I know that we cannot know exactly how many Bitcoin owners are out there, but can you imagine that every Bitcoin owner is expecting to cash out? And the question is left is to whom? I did just a basic search here. Let me share the screen with you. Maybe we'll find something, something more direct. But like it says here, like most Bitcoin owners hold less than $100 worth of Bitcoin. Okay, and let's see here. Let's see if it mentions how many people. Let's see how many people own Bitcoin. So let's take a look, because it fascinates me how many people actually think that they're going to be able to cash out. Because what's happening, if you look at the behavior of Bitcoin and those people investing in Bitcoin right now, you'll notice that the price goes up $1,000, $2,000, and they sell. There's a sell-off. Okay. Within this level, it makes sense that you can sell for, make $1,000, $2,000 profit. If you brought the Bitcoin back when it was like, $1, I mean, you're making good money, right? You sell a few thousand of those Bitcoins, you are making incredible profits, and that's fantastic. The Bitcoin, that gives Bitcoin validity, especially for those who own Bitcoin since the beginning, right? So yeah, Bitcoin is viable. It is, you people are making money with Bitcoin. Absolutely. But for you to come in now and buy Bitcoin like maybe a few days ago at $10,100, because now it's going up. Ooh, it's going up. Hi dear, how are you? Yes, tell her the same. She thought you were. Hello, Carmen. God bless you. Dios le bendiga, mija. Wow. You guys are in New York, huh? So, anyway, I miss you. We just finished moving to a new place, and I don't know when I'll be back up there, but we'll see. So, in any case, one of the most important signals in understanding Bitcoin's health is the number of Bitcoin owners. Unfortunately, given Bitcoin's fragmented infrastructure and pseudonymous blockchain, there is no definitive answer at present. However, all of this just gives you the ideation. If most Bitcoin owners I miss her too. If most Bitcoin owners, this is a long family friend here, a long time. So when I was a teenager, so that's why I'm interrupting the broadcast to attend to that. Special guest of honor here in the audience. So if we were to imagine these, it must be tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people who own less than $100 worth of Bitcoin. They own Bitcoin to one degree or another, whatever. Even if they were owning one Bitcoin, and I mean they're all waiting for the $1 million day. The question begs to ask, who do you really think is going to buy it at $1 million from everyone? Because everyone is expecting the cash out. So this is the thing that you have to realize. It's almost like I did a show on aliens, on the possibility of ever reaching to any alien life form that's intelligent, because we are absolutely will definitely meet alien microbes. That's absolute. But in terms of other aliens that can travel through space, I did a show showing that the science really is against that idea, because even if aliens did exist at one time, and even if they visited the Earth at one time, the universe is expanding by over 6.7 billion light years every single year, if I'm not mistaken on the exact number. And that would render any alien world and peoples or things, whatever, nations, entities, technologically unable to continue visiting the Earth because of that. Um, and even if we would be able, so let's put the shoe on the other foot, and if we were the ones that were able to finally reach a planet with alien life forms on it, we have to realize that within that year, that planet will be out of our reach, because that's the reality of how the universe is expanding. So it doesn't make sense that we should expect that. So the same thing is with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is something that people need to start understanding. Really, looking at Bitcoin in a different frame of mind, and it's the same thing that the CoinDesk article is pointing to, because um, it says that Bitcoin needs, what it needs are quick investors that come in and out and invest like to give Bitcoin life. Because that's all there is. The expectation that Bitcoin grows into this massive amount of money, I don't doubt that it can. It's not an issue of can it. I mean, if people get so crazed about it, yeah, it can potentially. But again, as the price goes higher and higher and higher, you have a smaller market that's able to get enthused and to actually buy at the higher price. So this is the thing that you have to realize. People really have to understand this. So it's not like you're going to have. It's like thinking that you have, all these 100,000 investors today in Bitcoin, and that there's like a universe out there, tens of trillions of people waiting till it hits 1 million to then buy it. What are you thinking? So basically, what they're trying to say is that for the near future, Bitcoin is going to be basically, you should treat it as a buy and sell type of scenario. And again, they're not telling you, you have to take some of your holdings, your hodlings, and put it in and make purchases low as it goes low, and then sell when it goes high, and make you a few dollars. Keep making a few dollars, and the market keeps working while Bitcoin evolves and society evolves, and Bitcoin does what it will do. I mean, but sitting hodling on any one of the cryptos, we talk about Bitcoin, so any of the cryptos, this applies to them 1,000 times over. Any of the crypto coins, you also have to, consider that the same. It applies even more so. So you got to think, who's going to buy this? You got to understand that. So these are the things that you have to understand. Now, the beauty of it is that if you would understand what I just explained, you would realize that you could make your millions without Bitcoin reaching a million. That's the beauty of what I've just described to you, because a lot of you are waiting, hodling, when you really need a plan. You should have developed a plan to um, invest within Bitcoin. I'm not giving investment information advice. I'm not a financial planner. I'm just talking my opinion about this phenomenon called Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So that's all. Take it, leave it, whatever. Do your own research. Do your due diligence. It's your business. But I'm just giving my philosophical view of what is the Bitcoin experience and its reality. So it is one of the things that really is interesting. We love to fantasize that it's going to hit a million, but I've showed in previous videos how you could make $1 million if you're invested in Bitcoin now. You should be a millionaire in 2 years. And it's not with Bitcoin going up to a million. It's not. But if you, and a matter of fact, let me put it this way. If you've been in crypto for more than 2 years or for 2 years and you are not a millionaire already, then you are totally missing the boat. What you're waiting for is ridiculous. You could have been a millionaire already. It just shows, and I'm saying this to you so that you realize that you have been wasting your time. You've been wasting money, obviously, because time is money. All you need is 2 years, and you would have been a millionaire already. Okay, obviously you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what to do. So I advise you, Bitcoin or not, any other crypto or not, you really need to learn what you need to do in order to leverage your investments in cryptocurrency in such a way that you can turn $1 million in the next 24 months, as you should be able to do. And that's things that I teach my students how to do that are in my crypto program. Now, the let's see here. I don't see anything here that says, it says Coinbase. They're trying to find how many people own Bitcoin. So Coinbase, for instance, reports having served 20 plus million customers. It's not transactions, but customers. So these are individual accounts. So at least by Coinbase's account, there are 20 plus million customers out there. 20 plus million. And the majority own less than $100 of Bitcoin, right? So that we'll understand that. But what does a served customer really mean? That's again, it's another issue, but we're not going to get into that. We just have to realize that the exact number we can never know. Blockchain Info's wallet, a popular free hot wallet for BTC, advertises that it has 25.1 million users. So that 20 plus is very similar to that, and that makes a lot of sense because a lot of the Bitcoin investors use multiple platforms and wallets and stuff like that. Usually they get one, they'll get the other, etc., etc. Lastly, in January 2018, there was a poll conducted in America which showed that 5% of Americans hold Bitcoin. See, and this is again, this is 5% of Americans. Now, do you think that the other 95% of Americans are millionaires? See, because if it did, if 95% of Americans were millionaires, then you may have a valid reason for hodling to hell freezes over. You may have a reason. But as I remember, it's like only 1% of the American population is well to do and would be the only ones who would potentially purchase your Bitcoin at $1 million, or even at $50,000 and purchase 100 of them and 200 with ease, with no problem at all. I mean, that's what you're hoping for because even if it hits 50,000, you know how many Bitcoin holders who want to get 50,000? Who's going to buy? How many people would have to buy it out of the 21 or 25 million Bitcoin owners? So this is the issue that you have to realize. So the numbers don't mesh. They don't mesh. They don't make any sense. The hodling paradigm does not make sense with the reality and the mathematics here. So unless the only way it makes sense if things go devalued, and today's dollar is worth $100,000 by the time you expect Bitcoin to hit $1 million, then that makes sense. But other than that, no, it just does. It falls apart. So obviously, these are not enough to determine anything. That there are a total of 11.2 million Bitcoin addresses that hold at least 0.001 BTC. I mean, again, it just goes to show you how little most BTC participants have. To solve the dilemma, when they're more than coolness, they're going through the movement or the process of trying to figure out how many owners there are, how many people are actually invested in Bitcoin. But again, like I said, and all of these people, even they have, and at the end, they calculate 13.20 million total people who own Bitcoin. 13.20 million, and you can think about how many people are in the world and how many they're in China or whatever. But the point is not how many people there are, is how many people will pay you $50,000, $100,000, $1 million for your Bitcoin. That's the question that you have to answer. So obviously it's silly to hold out for that. And again, it's really silly to keep holding when you understand, when you realize that in 2 years you can be a millionaire already. You don't have to wait. Okay, so it doesn't make any sense. Most people, and this is talking about Bitcoin. What does it mean? It means that most cryptocurrency holders, the rest of the altcoins, you guys are retarded for hodling and not leveraging your investments so that you can, in 2 years as well, you can make a significant amount of money. I think in that video, it's someplace on my channel, my Global My CBH Network channel, I did the example, I did the chart, and I believe the altcoin holders can, in the same amount of time and given the same amount of advancement in Bitcoin that's postulated there, which I think was about $50,000 in 2 years, um, the cryptocurrency owners would be again, they would have some monies advanced, because as Bitcoin goes up, theirs go up as well. But that they could be, if they did the 2 year thing with the investment, they would be seeing the 100,000, 250,000, depending on the coins they use, and the leveraging system they use in our program. And I mean, that's not the $1 million that the Bitcoin holder would be able to achieve in 2 years and have Bitcoin left over. It's not that you're giving up the Bitcoin for the cash. You're leveraging, meaning that you're building up. Using leveraging means you're investing in other things, not just Bitcoin, and you're doing certain things and balancing off, so buy and sell, and just raising your wealth to that degree. In 2 years, that can be accomplished. So in Bitcoin, if you have Bitcoin, you can do the $1 million in 2 years. If you have any of the altcoins, and that means a lower investment, and also if you have a very low investment in Bitcoin, same thing, you will be able to at least make a six-figure level within a 2 year period. Because hey, listen, in 2 years, what are we looking at? Let's look at what Bitcoin has done. I don't think we can. Let me just take a look at that. Crypto coin market cap. Let me see if they have the chart. Let's look at Bitcoin. Let's look at the chart. Okay, and we're looking for 2 years time. So it's right now. We'll start from the January now. See, so from January it hit a high of about $18,000. Okay, 2 years later, it lost money, right? It hasn't come back up. It just stayed down and had a lot of rough times. But we're down about half, 50%. You have to realize that if this was you, even if you brought Bitcoin at the $19,000 level, today you would have been a millionaire using my system. It don't matter that Bitcoin is 50% lower right now. Everyone else who brought in Bitcoin has suffered a loss from that 19 high, right? And you would have been the only one who's a millionaire having leverage. And you could say, yeah, Bitcoin made me a millionaire because you'll be leveraging Bitcoin, but you'll be ending up much better. Now, what can you expect in 2 years? Let's look back. Before that high, we have to agree that in the last 2 years, that is a significant move, right? So that's a 2 year move. So let's look back at, if I can manage these charts. Okay, no, that's not what I wanted. So let's see what we got. There's a year to date again. Okay, so I'm sorry, not the year to date all. So let's look at the chart again from beginning to end. And so that was January 18. So 2 years before that was January 16. January 16 was $433. So from $433 to $19,000 is a great advancement. So there's 10, 40% or 500%, almost like 500%, going towards 500%. Applying that increase in 2 years to Bitcoin from its 19, we'll take the 19 and make the 500%. We're looking at $100,000 Bitcoin in 2 years from today. Not saying that that's what's going to happen, saying that it is, in my opinion, the maximum possible in the 2 year period of time based on previous history. And previous history is not an indicator at all of how it will perform in the future. We know that. That is absolutely correct. But in terms of potentialities, as dictated by previous performance, you can't expect it to go up to $100,000. But if it was going to go up, it would go up to $100,000. If Bitcoin was going to have a massive upswing and people were starting to buy it like mad and this and that, it wouldn't be hard to imagine or to realize that it can go up to $100,000. But again, realize this, that even with it going to $100,000 in 2 years, you could still be a multi-millionaire instead of just being a $100,000 lucky Bitcoin owner. So this is the issue that we're talking about. And of course, in the program, and I'm not selling the program to you, I'm just giving you information. You don't have to do my program. If you're smart enough to know how to leverage and do that as effectively, then you can do that. You don't need my program for that. It's just that most people just can't be that type of a genius. But in any case, you can see that the potential is there, but the best option is going to be leveraging your investment in Bitcoin. And you can take the same percentile and apply it to most of the decent altcoins out there. And you have pretty much the gist of this sentiment of the reality of Bitcoin today and most cryptocurrency. He says that crypto needs investors to come and go who aren't solely crypto investors. Isn't that what I just said? What is he saying? He's saying crypto needs people to come in and do what I just said, leverage, not stay there. Crypto needs it. They need it to realize the 100,000, within the next 2 years. But realize that by doing this, they haven't figured this out, even themselves. The thing that can help Bitcoin the most is exactly the thing that would help you as a Bitcoin investor to become a millionaire in the next 2 years, notwithstanding what happens to Bitcoin. See? And the fact is that by you doing what I'm suggesting, you're actually helping Bitcoin. So it actually helps Bitcoin to experience that 500% gain in the next 2 years by taking my recommendation. Either way you look at it, my idea and my suggestion is the best one. And this is not the first time that my ideas have been proven to be right on the money. And here it is, another example. It says that said, a lack of full attention has its advantages. When one isn't focused day to day on the equity markets, it is often easier to see one or two data points, interpret the data, and make clear and objective decisions. So for example, 2019 earnings were incredibly weak. The majority of stock gains were via multiple expansion and central bank balance sheet growth. As a non-equity investor, this seems like a better time to sell than buy. Similarly, if you're not focused every day on digital assets and we're presented with just facts right now regarding supply and demand, adoption, and monetary policy, you might conclude the current macro environment is creating the perfect storm for owning certain digital assets. Right. So this is what we see in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency market today. And you hear it in all the content creators' content, or see it as a video, hear it as a podcast, or read it in their blog. It's a dichotomy, if you will. It's almost an unease of what's needed for Bitcoin to shoot up and whatnot. I just told you that the shooting up is just an opportunity for a long time investors who came in early, who had significant low cost entry into Bitcoin. They can make some money. They're making money. So that's what that represents. It comes down because the number of buyers, again, are limited. It's going, and the higher you go, the more limited it is. CoinDesk, through this article, through these folks that they're interviewing and discussing this issue, is exposing the reality that crypto needs more big, deeper pockets. So it needs at least enough pockets to keep Bitcoin humming at, 10, 15, back down to 9, 16, and keep this thing happening in this neighborhood. But you need people that are liquid, people who have this type of money. Most of the Bitcoin holders, the majority, don't have squat. They own less than $100 of Bitcoin. What don't you think if they could afford more Bitcoin, they would have bought it? They can't. And that's where most of the buyers are out there, or most of the people. They just sit and watch it. They're sitting and watching. So Bitcoin really needs to make an appeal to people. And I'm telling you something. Let me tell you something. These are people that have other options. This is where Bitcoin is getting into more and more into a thinner airspace. Because the people with this kind of money, they have other options. It's this, and they're not the same options I'm teaching my folks to do, my students. Okay, they're similar, but the whole point, they're exactly the same if you just call it leveraging. So the things that you would leverage with Bitcoin are the things that these guys are already have access to and are doing. So Bitcoin promises to be of interest to the people they need right now, but it really doesn't show it to be. It just doesn't have it at this point. And it's because they're getting high into the atmosphere, the stratosphere, and the air is getting thin. So it's a precarious thing. So my suggestion, if you're interested in cryptocurrency at all, is to do it but with leveraging. And that means that in 2 years, again, in 2 years, look through my videos and look for that cryptocurrency video where I discuss this and show you the chart. And I'll probably, if I'll try, I never do these things on YouTube with the cards and the links, but I'll try just as an exercise for learning, because I just don't want to complicate my time expense on these things. But I'll do it as a community a favor and an aid to those who are watching with interest. So I'll link to that on YouTube and Global My CBH Network, and there you'll see the 2 year sample that I provide And regardless of what happens with crypto, you should be a millionaire in 2 years. And that's as simple as I can make it. So the industry is showing its the cracks, admitting to it. It's interesting. It's interesting. You see, they saying that Bitcoin needs it, but you see, you don't need to tell people that have the money that Bitcoin needs their entry. Bitcoin, if it was showing, strength, then they would come in. You don't need to tell them, and I'm sure a lot of them are already in, but they're waiting for something to happen. So this is basically what's happening. You're getting as high as you can for this time right now without anything else falling down into pieces around the world. And basically, you're just waiting for something to pop. It's not necessarily Bitcoin. It could be something else. But that's basically what's happening. It's almost like a holding pattern, not to make a pun or use the hodling thing, but that's almost the sentiment of where Bitcoin is. As far as my predictions I made quite some time ago, I'm still sticking to it. Exactly what I told you would happen has happened in part, which was the first dip occurred. I'm still prognosticating a second, more greater dip. I'll say it because I saw it back then. I do believe that we're going to head to a bigger crash, if you will, in Bitcoin, but soon thereafter, I'm prognosticating that there will be a higher high than we've had up to now. Where it's going to be, like I said, the potential is anywhere from back up to the 20s to in 2 years time period to the 100,000 mark. Who's going to pay 100,000? I have no idea. No, I'm serious. I have no idea. But whatever is going to pump the Bitcoin even to 50, it's because it's going to become evident that Bitcoin is going to be a solid digital asset. And that's what has to happen. Right now, it's still not there yet. Certain things have to go on in the world, and people's minds have to really change for that to occur. But in 2 years' time, it may happen. Who knows? So far, what I prognosticated exactly on the money. We had the first dip. If you saw those older videos, I said there would be two. So I'm still waiting for the second and the more profound dip to occur. And after that, I'm still looking at the 2 years right now. The 2 years where it will try to get up to the six figure. Maybe. It's not guaranteed. And it may take more than 2 years, but it is possible within the 2 years. Doesn't have to wait for 2 years, and it may not be in the 2 years, it may last longer. But another dip, I do strongly believe we're going to see another dip. But if you're in Bitcoin, that shouldn't concern you. You're in Bitcoin, you're going to be in Bitcoin. But what you should be concerned is not another dip that's coming. Although it's a great opportunity to buy, and all of you who haven't, but more than that, and better than that, you should be leveraging. And you should look for my videos on my program and follow this channel, and track it down, because I'll let you guys know how to, when we're accepting more students, how to come into that and be part of that and get yourself situated so that either way, up or down, left or right, you'll be a winner with cryptocurrency. Okay, and another little 2 cents here is that also be looking at alts. If you are not in heavily invested in Bitcoin, or even if you are, you really should be looking at the alts. The alts are a low entry like Bitcoin was before, and there is good indication that the alts will also take you for a nice ride. But also remember, it's not just getting the altcoin, it's also leveraging. If you don't leverage, you just, you're putting money away and you're not really doing the right thing. You should be being smarter than just buying cryptocurrency and sitting. You have to be more active than that. Okay, that's it for this today. I'm going to do the Russian thing right after this in a few minutes. So I'll be seeing you guys very soon.